Okay. You are too loud. That would be why. And then let's go. Hello? My bed's a mess. Whoops. Professional. What is it this? Oh, you're able to see this? Whoops. Ah, you know what? I think we're okay. Oh, as it becomes an issue. Oh, excuse me. This device safely removes blood clots. Right. Okay. I can watch your comments now. Or whatever it's called. I can look at the live stream comments. Excuse me. Ignore the bed. The hell? Made it work. Whatever. I don't care. Hello! Hello. 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 I'm actually going to turn myself up a little bit. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Whistlers Podcast. Hope y'all are having a wonderful day. I do. That's not sarcastic. It's not. I do. I'm going to give a couple minutes, let people filter in. See who can make it and who can't. And then I'll get going, talk about last week, how much of a screw up that was. It's my fault. Why am I browsing YouTube? Literally why? I'm just a mindless... I'm not thinking. Alright. Go to my channel. Sorry, our channel. Communism. Can I just like... No. Okay, so I have to go here. Mute. Edit. Alright. Open up a new tab. I should really look into, like, setting these up ahead of time. It's kind of embarrassing. I mean, I don't know. I would call it embarrassing. It's just kind of rough, I guess. Live. Yeah, alright. So last week we did a ninja. Let me just copy that. Oh. Never mind then. Number 9. Save. Show more. I'll make up an excuse. I do this at the beginning of every stream to show people what it's like to be a YouTube streamer. Big brain. If you don't know what tags are, they're easy to be found. As in, it is easy. It's how they get searched up. So when you look up Bigfoot, anything with a tag Bigfoot is going to be up quicker than anything else that doesn't have the word Bigfoot in it. In the tags. I can't imagine many people who watch these live streams don't know what tags are, but just in case, you know. Tags a little clickbaity, not really. I think I do a pretty good job keeping them centerfold, but like creepy is a little much. But hey, some stuff we go over is pretty creepy. The Wendigo episode was pretty creepy, but it was also Halloween, so it fit. All right, that's good enough. And then let's go over here and go Cryptid Wiki. Oh. Okay. As always, check out Ross Budgeon, Bugden, New Year Den 24, 1 hour, all that jazz right there. Let's see. Anybody in the comments? No. That's fine. Take a couple more minutes. Give it to like 8:10, and then we'll get started. So yeah, if you're watching this as a VOD, just skip ahead like 3 minutes. Probably should start at the beginning, actually. Whatever. That's fine. Excuse me. Do you have any fun things to talk about while we wait for people to filter? Not really. My life's kind of one track, you know. I work at a store that sells Yeti. Yeti is a cooler brand, and I got this really nice bottle opener. I mean, this thing feels like if I just ground this up against like a brick paver and sharpened it, and we get invaded by some foreign entity with an acronym that's 3 letters that's currently dealing with protests because they're hungry for power, and the U.S. doesn't know how to keep armed military force strong, powerful, and QRF, then I'll just like, you know what I mean? This is, like, look at this thing. It's like, it's nice. It's nice. So Yeti, good brand for bottle openers. And anything else that can be shaved down with some force and a brick paver, you know? Just saying. So there's that. That's pretty cool. And I also came with this, like, zipper thing. So this looks like an ordinary keychain with a lot of good snap to it. But I found that this thing is actually meant to clip onto a zipper of a lot of the Yeti product bags that have, whatever you call it, have, like, bulky zipper things. And then you snatch it right on, and then this becomes a zipper, and you just hook that right on there. Now, I don't need that. I don't have any of these bag things. So really, that whole package was a glorified bottle opener. But again, this is a sturdy bottle opener. This is an anti-communist bottle opener. God bless. How much time did that kill? 2 minutes. Okay. Well, you know, we're just gonna start. So, hello everybody. I do these every week. Well, okay. Let me back up. I missed 2 weeks. I had COVID. I was sick. I was not feeling well. Okay, feel better. Do it for a week. Next week, OBS annoys me. This is last week. Refuses to let me stream. Turns out it was an old version of OBS, and for some reason when it tried to update, it failed, but I didn't realize it failed, so I couldn't properly open the program, so I had to uninstall and reinstall it, which took 3 days to figure out. So my apologies. That's on me. And I was gonna make up the episode, but I said I'll just keep it for next week, and just make up for it then. So my apologies to those who keep up with this weekly. I know I haven't always been the best when it comes to doing these on a schedule. I promise I'm trying. I really do. Halo is nowhere to be found right now because we're busy. I'm going through a job change as we speak, actually. So that's taking up a lot of time and stress, if you could imagine. So there's that. And, yeah. Ugh, yeah. So, life is not super easy, I would call it, right now. So that's what I got. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. I'm still holding this Yeti thing. But regardless of the excuse, I do apologize that these aren't always super repetitive in timing. That these don't stay on schedule, I suppose. So all that said, I'm gonna try to do better. Promise. I'm also looking into seeing if we have any other potential live streaming programs. Oh, excuse me. All right. So, what are we looking at? What are we doing for Cryptid this week? We've done. I'm starting to. It's kind of cool being able to just like recognize that. Oh, I know about that Cryptid. I know about this little ninja thing, little spirit guy from the ocean. And of course, there's a lot of these. Huh. Why don't we do what is this? Let's do Mongolian Deathworm. Yeah, let's do Mongolian Deathworm. Y'all ready for this? Yeah, okay. Well, this is definitely a questionable thing. So, if you're new here, welcome. And if you're new here, how do we do things? We usually start out by looking up Cryptid and finding its wiki. We start by reading the wiki. I read it out loud. The idea of this is that, if possible, I try and make this more audio than visual, so you can have this on the background, whether you're at work, at school, you're whatever. You just want to hear something and learn about something new, so this is supposed to be more of an audio thing. With all that said, we start with the wiki, see if we can find any threads to pull, and we move on from the wiki. Oh, sorry. I'm exhausted today. So why don't we start with that? Mongolian Deathworm. Usually, yeah, they're not very long, usually. Let me move down the mic, actually. How did I used to have it? Like this? Sure, let's do that. Alright. This actually feels better already. Mongolian Deathworm. So, Mongolian Deathworm is a creature alleged to exist in the Gobi Desert. Gobi. It must be Gobi. The creature first came to Western attention as a result of Roy Chapman Andrews' 1926 book On the Trail of Ancient Men. The American paleontologist, I know that word, I promise, described secondhand tales of the monster that he heard at a gathering of Mongolian officials. Quote, none of those present had ever seen the creature, but they all firmly believed its existence and described it minutely? Yeah, sure, minutely. In 1983, a specimen of Tartar sand boa was shown to locals who claimed to have seen Old Goy, that word, and had confirmed it was the same animal. Alright. Appearance! If pauses while talking because of the yawns and noises, might not be your episode, just saying. Quote. You know, let me open the window. Let's get some cool air in here. Cool, rainy air. There we go. Oh. Quote, it is shaped like a sausage about 2 feet long, has no head nor leg, and is so poisonous that merely to touch it means instant death. It lives in the most desolate parts of the Gobi Desert. End quote. In 1932, Andrews published this information again in the book The New Conquest of Central Asia, adding, quote, it is reported to live in the most arid, sandy regions of the Western Gobi, end quote. Andrews, however, did not believe in the creature's existence. The worm is said to inhabit the western or southern Gobi in the 1987 book, through the Altajin. Oh, I can't say those words. Alvin Tajadaka Gov. Ivan Mackerel. Mackerel? Really? His last name is Mackerel? Irvin Mackerel cites a Mongolian legend which described the creature as traveling underground, creating waves of sand on the surface which allow it to be detected. It is said it can kill at a distance either by spraying a venom at its prey or by means of electrical discharge. It primarily lives in burrows underground, only rarely coming to the surface. Okay. Investigations. The animal was the basis of a short story, Olgoy Karokoi, 1944, by Russian paleontologist, science fiction writer Ivan Yerefermov. Sure. Written under the impression of Andrews' book. In 1946 to 49, Yermovov was studying fossils in Gobi Desert and wrote that he heard the legend Olgoy Kormokoi many times, but nobody claimed to have seen it. In 1990 and 1992, Yvonne Mackerel led small groups of companions into the Gobi Desert search for the worm. Inspired by Frank Herbert's novel Dune, okay, in which gigantic fictional sandworms could be brought to the surface by rhythmic thumping, Mackerel constructed a motor-driven thumper and even used small explosions to try to find it. I'm gonna guess it failed. In 2005, zoological journalist Richard Freeman of the Center for Fortean Zoology mounted an expedition to hunt. I need to turn down. Sure. Okay. In 2005, zoological journalist Richard Freeman of the Center for Fortean Zoology mounted an expedition to hunt for the death worm, but came up empty-handed. Freeman's conclusion was that the tails of the worm's powers had to be apocryphal. Yeah, that's a word. And that reported sightings were likely involved in unknown species of worm lizard or that. Amphisbaenia. Reality television series Destination Truth. Oh, cool. Destination Truth conducted an expedition from 2006 to 2007. A New Zealand television entertainment reporter, David Ferrier of TV3 News, took part in an expedition in August of 2009, but came up empty-handed as well. He conducted interviews with locals claiming to have seen the worm and mentioned on his website that the sightings peaked in the 1950s. It seems interest in the worm has died down as there have not been any recent sightings. More knowledge of the ecology of the Gobi Desert. What was previously thought to be Mongolian deathworm may have actually been a type of pit viper or rat snake local to the area. Other than the bright pink and red flesh, the description of the worm match these types of snakes. Many cryptids have turned out to be hoaxes, but sightings of deathworm were likely driven by mistaken identification of species or hallucinations caused by desert conditions. The only evidence for this creature had been sightings and stories from the locals. No photographs or remains have ever been found. Because of the lack of our evidence, the Mongolian deathworm is likely to be just a legend. Citation needed. Ooh. Mongolian Deathworm is a 2010 television film that aired on May 8th, 2010 on Sci-Fi Channel. The creature is also referenced in William Gibson's popular novel Spook Country, published in 2007. Alright, so there have been a lot of investigations, but nothing ever once turned up evidence. Sounds about right for these cryptids. So that's the wiki. Now we can start to choose a website. Oh, let's see. Let's go with historic mysteries. That sounds like a pretty good place to start. Actually, no. Mythology.net. What is a Mongolian deathworm? Deep beneath the sand in the wildest pockets of the Gobi Desert, a Mongolian deathworm slumbers through most of the year. When the oversized worm emerges in June and July, travelers who stay through its territory put themselves in peril of a sudden painful death. Characteristics. Physical description. Despite its name, the Mongolian deathworm is very different from the slimy, soft-bodied creatures that the word worm usually brings to mind. For starters, these desert monsters are supersized. They can be anything from 2 feet to 10 feet in length, and they can be as wide as an oak tree. Their skin, too, is dramatically different from a worm's skin. They are plated with tough red armor that helps them withstand the heat and friction of desert sand. Their carnivorous mouths are lined with hooked teeth that help them direct prey into their throats. Of course, the monster does have a few similarities to your garden variety worm. Its body is long and tube-like, and it has no identifiable eyes or nose. Its body might also be segmented like an earthworm. Special abilities. The fact that this enormous creature can survive the barren Gobi Desert is in itself a miracle. Several important adaptations help the worm take on the desert's toughest conditions. First, it is an excellent burrower. Man, I'm busting. First, it's a bara, able to dig down to layers of sand that haven't been superheated by glaring desert sun. Second, the worm spends a large part of the year hibernating. In this way, it avoids the driest seasons and saves its energy for better days. Still more astonishing than the Mongolian deathworm's ability to live is its ability to kill. The bizarre creature has some rare and deadly tricks for bringing down prey. It can send electric shock waves through the sand, sending its victims so they can't run when it emerges to eat them alive. It also has an acidic venom, so potent that it can corrode metal. Merely brushing its skin can deliver enough venom to kill you, and if it can't get close enough to touch you, it can spit its cerebral venom at you. Cultural representation. Origin. It's unclear exactly how old the legend of the Mongolian deathworm is. Tales of a monster worm buried beneath the sands of the Gobi Desert were first introduced to the Western world by an explorer named Roy Chapman Andrews in 1926. Although Andrews dismissed the stories as folklore, other scientists and explorers were captivated by the sensational creature. Mongolian deathworm sightings increased as its fame in the Western world increased. The worm was used as inspiration in pulp fiction novels, and multiple expeditions were launched in the Gobi Desert to find the monster. All the expeditions were forced to leave the desert empty-handed. As the Mongolian deathworm's novelty wore off, its popularity tapered too. Today has fallen into the chasms of public oblivion. Explanation. Most biologists agree that the existence of a large mating worm in the Gobi Desert is unlikely. The Gobi Desert is an extremely hostile environment. A few large animals managed to carve out a niche there. Plus, if the creature did exist, bones or bodies would have probably been found by now. With its hot, dry air, the Gobi Desert is excellent at preserving bodies, and the people who wander its sandy dunes know that they really spell Noah as an N-O, not K-N-O-W. Know that they can get a large cash reward for bringing back the remains of a deathworm. The most likely explanation for the deathworm is misidentification of real animals. Sand boars or worm lizards, which can grow to be several feet long, can be mistaken as monsters, especially by travelers suffering from thirst or heat exhaustion under the scorching sun. Well, that brought up a good point. Hallucinations are a real thing, especially in the desert. No comments. Well, that was mythology.net. Man, struggling to pronounce today. Oh, pardon me. Hey, y'all want to buy it on Amazon? No. What about Microsoft? No. What about, I don't know, IMDb, I guess? Let's go to all that's interesting. All right. So, all that is interesting. Though it has virus and threat protection. Now, there's a cryptid, because you do nothing, Windows threat and
virus protection. According to... Oh, wait. Those that have been photographed, people keep reporting sightings of the 5-foot death worm lurking... 5 foot? Listen, I'm not saying that that's small. It ain't. I would know. But I was imagining like, you know, like 30, 40 feet, not 5 feet. Just saying. According to sightings, the Mongolian deathworm is a long, sausage-like sandworm, dark red in color with spikes jutting out of both ends of its shapeless body. Using venomous spit strong enough to corrode metal or electric shocks powerful enough to kill an adult human, these alleged deadly worms are said to live below the sands of the Gobi Desert. Legends circulate freely about these monstrous worms, but no one has ever been able to come forward with proof of seeing them firsthand. This is the true story behind the rugged Mongolian deathworm. True story. Remember that. Okay, the Mongolian deathworm is an infamous creature whose legend lives in secondhand accounts that have been passed down for generations. Mongolia's nomadic tribes call it Algoi Korkoi. Korkoi? I'm gonna say Korkoi. Which translates roughly to intestine worm. Alright, sorry. Blonde. Due to his alleged resemblance to the insides of a cow. The worm-like creature with blood-red skin is said to reach up to 5 feet in length. But it is nothing like your average worm. The Mongolian deathworm is believed to possess some distinctly terrifying features. As British biologist Carl Schucker noted of the legendary creature in The Unexplained in its illustrated guide to the world's natural and paranormal mysteries, the Mongolian deathworm is believed to possess, quote, spike-like projections at both ends, end quote, of its body. It is also said to have formidable ways of attacking humans or other animals. Oh, pardon me. The worm can purportedly spit corrosive venom or shoot out a powerful shock, electrocuting its victim. Legend has it that these terrifying creatures spend most of their time hidden underneath the sandy dunes of the Gobi Desert, but that they're often surface during the winter months of June and July. If a local should happen upon the creature, they know to steer clear. Searching for the elusive worm. Okay, I don't like that. Depends how big that is. Like, if that picture is like the size of my hand, I'm not too freaked out. But that's small, I don't mess with that. Mongolian deathworm, for all the stories of its deadly projectile and grisly appearance, has to this day never been photographed, but not due to lack of effort. Curious researchers and intrepid adventurers have combed the Gobi... All I think of was a Spaceball meme. Have you finished combing the desert? Have combed the Gobi Desert in search of the legendary creature. Most famously, Czech cryptozoologist Ivan Makarol, one of the foremost investigators of the mysterious animal, traveled to Mongolia 3 times in search of the worm in 90, 92, and 04. Makarol first heard of the deathworm as a boy from the work of paleontologist Ivan Yermov in college. After he meeting a Mongolian student who believed in the worm, he became obsessed. He combed through Mongolian literature to find more clues about the deathworm and was finally granted permission by the government to conduct research there when he was in his late 40s. Another more dangerous animal also lives in the Gobi, the Algoi Korokki. It resembles an intestine filled with blood and it travels underground. Its movements can be detected from above via the waves of sand that it displaces. Inspired by Frank Herbert's 1965 sci-fi novel Dune, which features giant sandworms that are attached to rhythmic vibrations, Makarol's expedition team tried different ways to project vibrations underground during their search of the Mongolian deathworm. One of the team's contraptions was a motor-generated thumping machine, but alas, their efforts proved fruitless, and Mackerel concluded that the creature must be a myth. When Mackerel's expeditions failed to discover sound proof of the animal, they did provide most of the modern research material related to the Mongolian deathworm. Subsequent expeditions to hunt down the sand beast continue today. Theories behind the legend. Zoologist Roy Chapman Andrews mentioned the local legend briefly in a book about his Mongolian expedition during the 1920s. Although the legend, the Mongolian deathworm, remains strong among locals, its existence has yet to be corroborated by physical evidence or research. Zoologist Roy Chapman Andrews was the first Western researcher to take note of the legend. He learned about the elusive sand creature from Mongolian officials before his pioneering expedition to document Mongolian wildlife. In his 1926 resulting book On the Trail of Ancient Man, Andrews wrote, quote, "Then the premier asked that, if it were possible, I should capture for the Mongolian government a specimen of the Algorai horai, or Horhai. None of these present have ever had seen the creature. None of those present ever had seen the creature, but they all firmly believed its existence and described it minutely. The premier said that although he had never seen it himself, he knew a man who had and had lived to tell the tale. Then a cabinet minister stated that, quote, the cousin of his late wife's sister, end quote, also seen it. However, this anecdote about the Mongolian deathworm is a merely footnote in Andrew's book."
Scientists dismiss cryptids like the chupacabra
And the Yeti as urban legends due to lack of scientific evidence. But there is a possibility that such a creature like the Mongolian deathworm might exist. After all, even Jane Goodall, one of the foremost primate experts in the world, said she was open to the possibility of Bigfoot. The Gobi Desert is a vast region that spans a territory of 500,000 square miles of rough terrain, making the existence of underground animal species very likely. Additionally, there are worm species that have been known to live in sand instead of soil, like the giant beach worm in Australia. Moreover, in worms, the circulatory system functions by absorbing oxygen through their skin and carrying it throughout their body, which would allow them to grow up to large sizes like the death worm's purported 5-foot length. Yet nobody has been able to capture photographic proof of the Mongolian deathworm. So how did the legend come to be? Experts suggest eyewitnesses could have mistaken another animal like this sand boa as a legendary deathworm. There are a few explanations that could be at play. The first theory is that these accounts might actually be true, but like most stories passed orally for generations, they have become greatly exaggerated. The English translation of deathworm from its original Mongolian name is also misleading, and experts believe that if such a creature exists, it might be a type of reptile, not a soft, wriggly worm. Either the worm lizard, which looks like a large limbless worm that burrows underground and grows up to several feet, or a type of sand boa snake, could have originally inspired the deathworm lore. The lore of the deathworm? Sorry. No matter how the legend of the deathworm began, cryptid researchers have not given up that someday they will unearth it. Now that you've brushed up on the legend of the terrifying Mongolian deathworm, learn about the Native American legend of Wendigo. Next, discover 7 other cryptids way cooler than Bigfoot. Right. Thanks a lot, it's interesting. So, what have we learned? We learned that I yawn way too darn much. We learned that the Mongolian deathworm is said to be 5 feet. Which, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. If I saw a worm that's 5 feet long, I'm going to be freaked out. But at the same time, it ain't 40, you know? Just saying. So 5 feet. Spit venom. You touch it, you die. You spit on, you die. There's no photographic evidence of the death worm. There's no video. There's no... you name it. It's just stories told from by word of mouth. Which, you know how that goes. There are snakes and worm-like creatures that live in the Gobi Desert, which could be an example of just, you know, mistaken identity. should you choose to go that path. But again, there's no hard evidence. There's nothing to corroborate it, like some of these websites stated. What else? Alright, well, let's keep going. The thing about a lot of these is it seems like they're more just the history of how it came over to the West and what was done about it than what it is and the people who originally decided about it. You know what I mean? Let's try. What is this? All right. I thought that was a golf ball tee. So. Okay. Roy Chapman. It's just more of the same. Oh, man. I'd hate to end this at 40 minutes. This would be the shortest one yet, but like... I guess that's like, I don't want to say it, but I guess that's everything. I guess it's up to you then. I mean... Yeah. Sorry. I know the first like 10 or 15 minutes this was me getting set up, but... I don't got much. I guess today's more of a history lesson about a cryptid than an actual investigation. But hey, you know what? At least you know what it is now. You know what they say about it, so... Because, like, the reason why I want to end it here, kind of, is... There's no... debate. You know what I mean? Like, the debate is, does it exist? It's not much of a debate. You know, like... I don't know. I guess that's it. I'm sorry, guys. Wow, I really owe y'all, huh? Yeah. Alright, well, thank you guys for watching, I guess. Hope you guys enjoyed. I promise these episodes are usually a lot more entertaining, but this one, I don't know. When I start going back around and revisiting some of these cryptids, this will be one of the first ones, because I feel like I'm missing a lot, but in the moment right now, I can't think of much I'm missing. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, show your support, because it gets me motivating more videos just like this one. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, and hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope you guys join me next week. I will be on next week, I promise, at 8 p.m. EST. And remember that somebody somewhere loves you, even if they don't know yet. Take care, guys, and goodbye.